What's going on, everybody? Yashua Suarez with Edge Realty, and this is another episode of the Edge Realty podcast. And as you can tell, it's probably a little different in here. If you couldn't tell, we got a new studio going on here, and we're excited to share this with you. And of course, today, we had to do some a little different, a little more fun. We've got a couple more nice toys in the studio as well too, and along with that, we have the beautiful Bethany Kidd along with us as well too, to kind of introduce the new studio with us as well too. She was a big part of helping out putting this together, and welcome to the show. Hi, how are you?
I'm good.
Good. I'm glad you could be here.
Yeah.
Especially for like the new episode on the new show on the new studio.
Yes,
And so kind of like tell everybody. I know what I thought about whenever we were kind of like converting and coming up with ideas for the new studio. Tell them a little bit about like kind of what your thoughts were whenever you were coming up with ideas for like the placement of the studio.
So I don't watch a whole lot of podcasts, but every once in a while I'll turn one on. And there was one in particular that I like to watch, and they had like the really big comfy chairs. So I was like, we got to have comfy chairs, and you got to have chairs that I can come in here when we're not doing podcasts, and I can just gossip with you and sit in and be comfortable, or come in and just chill and have Maggie or whatever. And so I was like, we got to have some comfy chairs. And so we found these, and they're very comfy. I mean, we could have 2 people in these for all the more people in the podcast. And then you did so good with all the lighting, like bringing in the blue. I got to go shopping for some little decor that I'm always down to do.
Yes.
But we wanted it to feel homey and not too just like office-y. You got the TV, and just we utilized the space really good. It was a bullpen area with desks, so we tore those out, fixed up some things, and you got so much technology stuff in here that it works in the space that we had for you, and you still have your office area.
Yep.
So it's not like this takes up the whole space.
You guys can't see it, but like right behind the camera
behind.
Right there is like my desk area and stuff like that.
Yeah, so you have a big room, but we utilized it really good, and I'm just really proud. We did a good job. So, and we got to shop. We got to go shop.
Right? Hey, I'll take any excuse to go shopping.
Yeah, I was like, sorry, Gordon, I got to buy some furniture and some decor and a tree. So just make it fun.
Heck yeah.
We're comfortable. So.
See, like I knew what it's funny how like kind of thinking about where we started in like the green room that we had, the green room in the old office, and going from that to then moving on up into the newer office in Jacksonville that we had, and we had the podcast room in there for a while with the desk and everything that was working great. But this right here was my real thought of like what a legit podcast studio would be. And this right here, I mean, don't get me wrong, I was proud of everything we've done in the past. We had to start somewhere. You know what I mean? But this right here is like, I'm extremely proud of what we did here. And this right here, I think, is going to be like that next big thing that we have to offer for not only for our agents and our brand, but also for the community as well too, and our followers.
Because you do a lot of podcasts with other people in the community that haven't seen this. Our agents have seen it in and out, and so they're gonna love it. And the wall turned out so good. It's just fun. Like, that's just got a big shelf here. I just love it.
I love it. Just like you said, it feels home. It feels like you can just kind of sit down, hang out here. So it's not just for the podcast. Like, people have already been telling me this is going to be like their nap area.
Okay, because I can lay out with my computer once I'm here more, and you'll have to kick me out.
I'm excited. No, it's going to be good. I always like having, people kind of, come out and hang out with us and be able to just hang out.
Have
and like
a
I said,
welcoming space.
And it's not just for the podcast. This is, a hangout spot as well too for people. So I think it's super exciting for this to happen. So I don't know if a lot of but we do a lot of community events, and we host 2 major ones that are here in our community, and Bethany is actually my ride or die, my partner in crime when it comes to that. You know what I mean? If it wasn't for her, like we wouldn't be able to have a lot of these events put together. What's your thoughts on like, kind of where we started with these events. So we do the Easter egg hunt, right, which is our Easter event, and then we do our trunk or treat. So and it's perfect because it's kind of like almost 6 months apart.
Yeah, it's perfect.
It's perfectly kind of lined out almost to where it's not right back to back
on top of each other.
What's your thoughts on kind of where we started to like where we're at now when it comes to that?
So at the beginning of trunk or treat was first. So I wasn't as involved yet. I was still teaching, freshly out of college, still teaching. So you did a lot of it yourself, and Corbin helped. And so when I came in, you had like a plan, but it was getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And then we added Easter, and then it just thank goodness I started being here more, because you needed help with just, there's so many things to planning an event that is that big.
Oh yeah.
So if you don't know, we do those two events that are huge. If you drive by on Bill Foster on usually just a couple days before Halloween, we don't do it on Halloween night. Usually do it like the weekend before, whatever, just how the days fall. There's cops patrolling, doing traffic, because it's so crazy over here, and it's just the best thing to do with you. You're so good at communicating with outside people in the community to help with sponsor and to help plan, and we just have ideas and we just ping thing off each other. We know what each other's gonna like, we know what each other's not gonna like. And then Easter rolled in the first couple years with weather, and I think COVID even too.
Yeah, the first year it was COVID. The second year I think was rain.
I think so.
And then the third year is when we finally were able to actually put it together.
Yeah, so that second year, I really helped a lot more that year, and I was so sad because we had all these eggs that we had stuffed in everything. I ended up giving them to I think just one church. They were so thankful, and I'm glad that they could utilize them. But and then we did 2 years ago was our first actual go through the whole thing with Easter.
Yep.
And it was, you just never know how they're going to turn out.
Yeah.
When you make a public event like that, you put it out on social media, you pass flyers out, you do a podcast talking about it, we do videos, we do all the things, but it's like, how many people are going to see it? How many people are going to come? You can't do an RSVP.
Right.
So we had no idea. And that first year that we actually went through with Easter, like, it was so big, and we didn't have enough.
We were definitely not prepared.
Eggs. We didn't have enough manpower. We didn't have enough, I don't want to say room. We didn't have enough room. We didn't utilize our room the way, like, it wasn't a flop. It wasn't a flop, but it was not we didn't.
It was a learning curve.
It was a very learning curve. So this year, me and Josh start planning for these events. Usually for Halloween, we start in like August.
Yep.
And then for Easter, we start about January, like right after Christmas. And it takes time for us to get a plan, and then get our contacts for sponsors, and then start ordering things and rentals and all this stuff. And it takes a lot of time. And I remember after the first year of Easter, I had a spreadsheet on my phone of notes. And I do this after trunk or treat too.
Yeah.
Next year we need more extension cords. Next year we need to use more parking spaces. Next year, whatever. That list was so long. When I came to you last January for this coming one that was in March, you were like, "Oh my gosh, there's so many bullet points on this thing."
But it's what we needed.
Yeah,
that's what we needed. We needed that.
A lot of them were like just small things, or they overlap. Like some things I put on like 4 times.
Like trash cans. You know what I mean? Like we weren't even thinking about that the first time.
I think that was in all caps.
Yeah.
Trash can. But so they're huge events that truly at the end of the day, I get so much feedback from people that are just like, "Thank you so much for having this event. The kids loved it. We, go to our church trunk or treat or Halloween or they usually like Fall Fest or Harvest Fest or whatever, or then Easter egg, like we love it, but we wanted something different. They don't have this, they don't do that. We love that the food trucks were there, whatever. It just makes it all worth it." So
man, after
so fun.
It was tough because we had so much success with the trunk or treat in the past, and then we wanted to add in the Easter egg hunt, and I think seeing the feedback was rough. It was tough because there's people that are there's constructive criticism, and then there's just kind of,
Oh,
like the
we had
negative
some
criticism.
mashers.
And so, but we all took it in stride. We took it all in
Oh yeah,
stride
yeah.
as much as we wanted to be like, well, you put it on.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you do it. You tell me how many people are going to show up. You have no idea.
But I think we took it in stride,
Yeah.
and we listened to it, and we took it to heart, and with the list that you created, and then we met like 2 days after the event, and we immediately met, and we started brainstorming for next year, for the following year.
Gave us feedback.
Yeah.
Just for people that we saw there, friends, family, clients that we saw there. I was calling like, hey, thanks for coming Saturday. What went wrong? What would be better for next year?
Yeah.
We can't. You run the whole show. You're in the middle of the field for Easter. You're in the middle of the parking lot for trunk or treat with this speaker with the microphone, and I'm usually trying to facilitate all around, as well as I have kids that I'm trying to too.
Right. We're also parents, by the way, and spouses.
Yeah. Yes. So I'm, it's for Easter especially. Like I wanted to do the Easter hunt with Jack that year, but we still can't see everything. Mm-hmm. We cannot see everything. We don't know everything. We don't know every small issue, big issue. So I reached out to clients that came, family that came, and I was like, be honest. What do I need to do? And I did it this year too, even though it was, I think my list for next year is like this long compared because it went so well.
Yeah.
But it was a lot more preparation this year because we had a ton. I just wish for both of those events we could have someone with a clicker counting people.
Yes, I know, right?
And it's just, I just love seeing. I know the parking lots get full. I know the traffic gets crazy. Sometimes the food trucks run out of food, which is great for them. But
they don't show up.
Yeah. But... Or there's, I just wish there was a way of knowing how many people that we actually bring out to those community events.
But I would be super interested to see how much, because we always try to guestimate and try to find out. And, some people say, like, oh yeah, like 500 people. Others are like, yeah, like 1,200 people.
Yeah.
And so, but it's to the point where, it is packed. Like all the parking lots are packed. For the trunk or treat, we have lines going down the road, just trying to get into the area that we have. We had to try and utilize like the land that we have behind the building just to be able to have parking and stuff like that, which I think helped out. Thankfully, we have like all fan bowling and stuff like that next door, and they were super nice about letting us use a lot of their parking lot as well too. And then on top of that, all the businesses right here in our shopping center that were willing to close down. That were willing to close down so that we can utilize the entire parking lot, which was great, and we're super appreciative of them for being able to do that also.
That's huge.
And I think, man, it was crazy because, like we said, like that first Easter egg hunt was a rough one, but and it was tough because you see the kids, and some kids kind of left without even having any eggs at all during the hunt. That was heartbreaking to me. Like it's for all of us, I'm pretty sure, but like it was rough to see that. So I think we went from like having how many eggs did we have the first year?
First year we had 1,500. We did 3 races, 500 in each. Last year we had almost 7,000 eggs. Still 3 races, but they weren't exactly even. I think the last 2 had like 25-ish each, and then the first one maybe 1,500 if I did the math wrong. Sorry, but we had a lot of eggs.
Yeah,
we stuffed for weeks.
Yeah,
stuffed eggs for weeks. We would all come up here. One day I think I bought a bunch of pizzas.
Oh yeah,
I bought pizzas and we all stuffed eggs until our fingers hurt. I can't tell you how many Amazon orders I made because I didn't want to get way too much candy and like the little stickers and stuff for the little ones. Have way too much left over and candy go bad and all that. But we would stuff eggs and I'm like, oh my gosh, I have 700 more eggs in just this one box. We have no more candy, so I ordered candy for like weeks. Just every couple of days I've had more candy stuff in my house because I was like, I don't want to. You just.
But we didn't know. We would rather. We learned that we wanted to have
you don't know
more.
What size candy fits in these darn eggs?
That's the other thing too.
Oh,
we can't get like the regular like Halloween candy because it won't fit in the eggs.
Suckers don't fit. Gosh,
like even the fun size Snickers were kind of a hard time to get in there.
Fun dips, some of the good stuff. Well, you gotta have the small ones. I know you can buy bigger eggs too, but it's just
that's more space that we did.
Yeah, there's more space, and you get a lot more eggs per package. Mm-hmm. You want to tell them what I did after the first year?
What?
I raided Walmart, remember?
Oh yes, so it was perfect. So you did amazing there because like not only were you on point with it, but like so we had the first Easter egg hunt, and it was It was rough. But right after that, you ended up going
Immediately.
like immediately going to like Walmart and knowing that all these eggs and stuff like that were going to be going on sale. And so what did you found like
I
6,000
bought everything
eggs?
they had.
And but it was like
They barely
a
fit all in my
steal.
car.
A steal cuz I
Yeah.
don't even you didn't even spend like
No,
$60, did you?
no, I don't think so. I think I got like each package was like 40 cents, and each package had like, I don't know, 100. I'm not doing the math right. It a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, they just put all the boxes of eggs like on this big like roller thing out of Walmart and just rolled it to my car. I pulled into like the striped zone, and they just put my hatch up and they loaded them. It was so many. I took all their eggs.
That was clutch.
Yeah.
That
And then
was
before
clutch.
that, I had even posted on Facebook too. I'm like, if anyone has any old eggs that they don't want to keep.
Mm-hmm.
So then for months, people were like, I cleaned my attic out. Here's a box of eggs.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh. I mean, we had an office here full, and I still call it the Easter room, which now it has other holiday things in it, but all it was eggs.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm talking about like from top to bottom.
Yeah.
It was all just
All
boxes
eggs.
of all eggs.
Yeah, it was so many.
And not including like the other decorations that we had.
Oh,
you know what I mean? Like the bunny suit and like the blow ups and all that type of stuff. Yeah, this was
now we have even more.
Even more. But the great thing that we added this year as well too was going to be the tent for the arts and crafts and the face paint. That was a great idea because I think the first year we literally did it on like one of those camping canopies.
Yeah.
And we had like two tables.
Yeah.
And we had a line that literally was, I mean, at least
it was super windy.
People.
The weather was great temperature wise, but it was super windy. And when all of those four sides are open, the wind just goes right through.
Crafts are going everywhere.
Everything. So this year you got that huge tent, and it helped with people getting under the shade because it was still great weather, but there was no clouds, so it was super sunny and hot. So it got shade, but then it really helped with the wind too. There wasn't an issue with things flying everywhere.
That was a great part about it too. Yeah, that really
nice.
really helped.
Yeah.
Man, that was a game changer. I think that got a lot of people's attention as well too, because that giant tent.
Yeah.
You see it from the road. So
I mean, there's so many people for both events that they're like, I didn't even know what was happening. I just passed by and whipped around and pulled in, and I'm like, well, great.
Saw a crowd, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, what's going on over there?
Well, it's all like food trucks, and they're like, oh, I'm hungry, and then they're like, let's trunk or treat or Easter, whatever the event is. But yeah, a lot of people just pass by and see it, even not even knowing. Even though I feel like we talk about it for literally months in advance. We're putting it out, and now and Easter's getting that way. But trunk or treat, like people know it's coming.
Yep.
Who was it? There was a business, I don't know who, but they specifically didn't do an event on Halloween on the Saturday before, Friday before, whatever the day was. I think Halloween this year was like a Monday or Tuesday.
Yeah.
So we did it on like the Friday. They were like, we're going to do our event the next night because Edge always does one.
Yeah.
And when we got to that point, I was like, okay.
I know exactly who you're talking about. I don't want to blow them up on here because they're big supporters of us.
Too.
They're awesome supporters of us. So.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't want to intentionally do something huge if I knew, several other were going to do it that's going to take away from people choosing or traffic or whatever, or if there's like a home football game that gets difficult.
Oh yeah, or even a concert even as well too.
Oh, absolutely.
But like that was when I realized I was like, oh, we're on something here.
Yeah,
we got something going on here.
Just gonna do trunk or treat. Yeah.
And
I don't want to say that trunk or treat at this point like runs itself, but there's a lot of things that you and I sit down and we're like, we already know, check all these boxes off, but then we're like, well, we want new ideas. We want something new every year.
Like how many we've done it for. Almost 5 years now, right? I mean, I think we didn't do it 1 year maybe because of COVID. Actually, no, I think we've done them all every year.
I think Halloween's happened.
Yeah, so I think it was about 5. So we've done it 5 years now. So it's pretty crazy to have that already. Like, so we kind of already knew what to expect. With that, and you know what I mean. And like you said, it does kind of run itself. It's just more about the setup.
Yeah, and that gets detailed, but we have a pretty good game plan for that at the beginning, and then we work out details, but. We like to change it up.
Yeah, it's crazy to think about kind of, again, with that, where we started to where we're at now.
Yeah.
And like you said, it's people expect it to happen.
Yeah.
And so, I don't know, it's just amazing. The feedback that we've gotten from people, the participation that we've gotten from other businesses. I mean, we can't do that by ourselves either. It's not just us either, not even just Edge. This is like a community event. So we have other businesses that come and help us out with this. We have other businesses that come out and, donate stuff like candy and all that type of stuff. And
do trunks or set up for
the tower lights, lights that we have, those are also donated as well too from homes. You know what I mean? Like all these different businesses that really put this to make this happen.
Not just Edge. It's a whole community that event that the community other businesses help with, and we couldn't do it without them.
It's awesome, and we're we're just blessed to be able to have that community around us and that support, and awesome teamwork as well too. Yeah,
We
buddy.
could not do it without you.
Likewise,
Yeah.
dude. I'm telling you, like you said, like it was a lot to put that together and to grow it to where it's at now. There's no way that one person can do that. You know what I mean? Like
it's a lot.
It's not possible.
There's a lot of little things no one even thinks about that we probably don't even think about that we will every year. Learn.
Update even more every time. Exactly.
We ain't stopping.
We ain't stopping. Heck no, it's gonna keep getting bigger and better.
Nope.
Every year. Nope. Heck yeah. I'm just waiting for Corbin and Greg to just buy that lot behind us so we can go ahead and do the whole thing as well too.
Yeah, we need more parking. Yeah, because that land back there is always determined of weather. Like a couple days before, if it's too wet, we can't park. It's like, ooh, that's not good.
Yep, we're gonna have people get stuck. We don't want that.
Yeah, no, no, we don't want that. We don't want people getting stuck, having to pull everyone out. Yeah,
right. So, all right. So we kind of mentioned this a little bit, but we're both parents. You know what I mean? And then kind of coming into the real estate world, what's it like to have to balance, being a spouse, being a mother, being of multiple children, being an entrepreneur, and in the real estate industry? What was that like? Because you came from teaching.
Yeah. So I came from teaching, pretty set hours. I mean, you can obviously go in earlier and stay later, but pretty set. My phone's typically not ringing at 10 o'clock. Someone wanting to find out information about your classroom or whatever. I mean, you have it, but you don't. I knew what I was getting into, being married to a successful real estate agent whose phone doesn't stop. And who's been doing it for a long time. So I've been around it. I mean, we were together when he started real estate years ago. So I knew, but I didn't know. Like, I truly didn't know, not only what I was doing when I started, but when I started, it was nuts. So I started in 2022, so the market was going crazy, and I still had a little baby. I mean, Jack was 9 months old when I started, so it was a lot. We do really good. So add on to all those things, I also work with my spouse, and my father-in-law. So it's all we talk about. It's all we do. We put it aside and we can do that, and it doesn't completely control our lives. But I mean, last night we were working after we put the kids to bed at 9 o'clock, and both working, one on my phone, one on the computer, doing that. And it's hard. It is hard. Yeah. It's rewarding. Yeah. Having there is the flexibility.
Well, like I was gonna say, like, do you feel like do you believe in that like if you love what you do, like you don't really, it doesn't feel like work, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if it's something you're passionate about as well too, like why not share that with your spouse? You know what I mean? Like and I don't think it has to be limited to, oh no, like we're home, we're gonna only talk about home stuff, and so, but you guys are both in the same industry, so it's kind of hard not to, you know what I mean? And if you love what you do, you're passionate about what you do, like that's gonna be part of your regular day conversation.
And a lot of it too is that I'm still learning, and he's, like he said, he's learning every day new stuff. I mean, he knows a lot, and but he's been doing it for a long time, but he still learns stuff. So it's not all the time that we're talking about just like deals. It's, situations or new things that are coming in the real estate world, or as him being a builder too, new houses that he's starting, or new other kind of developments, or new neighborhoods that are coming up. I mean, it's all kind of wrapped around, but it's not always like this deal's going bad, they want to terminate, blah blah blah. It's not always bad negative. Yeah. Like it's all we talk about. But that's what we do together.
But that's, so if that brings you all closer together, I mean, by all means, that's part of it. I don't, like I said, like, I don't feel like it has to be limited to speaking about it only during business hours, or kind of, switching the shift. Because in this, as an entrepreneur, like I don't believe that there is a time or place to shut it off. Per se. See, the spouse side is different, you know what I mean? Because you guys share that there together. Now with the kids, that's a different dynamic. You know what I mean? Like there has to be they don't care about real estate. You know what I mean? At that age, I mean, they
don't know why you're on the phone at 7:30 when all they care about is watching Paw Patrol and drinking their milk, and the other one is having an issue of some sort. And while you're on the phone, not giving them their undivided attention when you have a make or break deal going on, they don't understand. Where I'm very lucky is that I have a spouse who he's not like, why are you on the phone? Like, he knows why. He like, you go take care of that, or we'll switch, because everyone knows. I mean, I make it very clear when I have a deal going on that we're a team. So you might talk to me. A lot of people do talk to me in deals, but you might talk to Corbin too, and it might just be like, I'm changing a diaper, so he's, and they need an answer or whatever. So sometimes we'll switch, or sometimes he'll take them and they're like, mommy's on the phone, but they don't understand. They don't care at this age, because mine are young. Yours probably understand more.
My oldest one understands a little bit. You know what I mean? She because she's gone along with me. She's gone out to showings. She's gone to closings with me and stuff like that. My little one is kind of getting to that age now where she kind of understands. But it's still more like, okay, like, why do we have to go show another house though? I'm like, oh baby, this is how I get paid. This is my job. This is what we do. So I try to. The cool thing is that they're at that age now where I can kind of like involve them in it, so where they're involved, and I can tell them like, oh yeah, so whenever you get big, and you start looking at houses for, you might want to look out for this is something that is about this. So like now I'll have like my daughter, my oldest, she'll go through the house and she'll be like, Dad, I don't know about that carpet that's in the bedroom there.
It's like crack right there. It looks real bad.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So like that was one of the biggest things one of the first things I showed her was about like finding those cracks that are just randomly in the walls. And I'll tell her like, hey, this right here, this is like some settling issues. There's something wrong with the foundation, and and it's awesome to see her, and she'll in that same house. I mean, there was a lot of cracks in that one house I showed her, but there was other cracks in that house. She's like, oh, I found another one.
Found it. You know what I mean? She's like, go through and count them.
Right.
That's funny.
So it's fun to kind of get them involved and to show them like, it doesn't always have to be, no, sit here, don't say anything, be quiet. That's no, it's for us. It's more, and the cool thing is when other clients and they come through with their kids as well too. Oh, yeah. And like my kids kind of almost know what their part is in all this, and they're like, all right, well, we'll hang out with the other kids and just kind of talk and play with them, not being crazy and stuff like that, because obviously I give them that talk before we get out of the car. We're like, hey, don't touch nothing, don't sit on anything, don't all that type of stuff. So they know. But when there's other kids, it's kind of cool, because then it's like, all right, well, they can kind of do their thing and kind of explore, and because then it's awesome, because then my kids start asking their kids like, which room would you be yours? What would you do in this area? Like, oh my God, imagine having a giant TV in here. So it's kind of cool to kind of see that as well too. So they have a part in all this, which is always fun. And I really wish that I hope that other people, other agents kind of get that opportunity to be able to interact with their kids and have them be involved with it. It just makes it more fun.
I've taken Jack on my fair share of showings with like friends and family, not just a random, like a new super, because I don't know how they're going to take him, because he's a lot. But I'll take him with like some friends, but he's always about trying to find the animals.
Oh, yeah.
Like, dude, there's no animals here. They told me no animals. They're like, there's a fish somewhere. I'm like, no, there's not. And that's all he wants to ever do is find animals. If there is one with an animal, sold. He is entertained.
He's there the whole time, huh?
Yeah, but it's the phone calls for me that he struggles with, because he's 30, he doesn't understand. And if it's a woman, he always thinks it's his grandma.
Oh yeah.
He will always. So if I'm like on speaker, I'm usually like, hey, I have two kids in the car. You're on speaker, and you're like, Grandma, hey, Grandma, and it's happened several times, and they'll just laugh. I'm like, sounds nothing like her. But he's like, Grandma, I just left school, I just got home, whatever, and I'm just like, oh my God, please ignore him. Whereas I'm like, Maggie's not talking yet, so who knows what she's gonna say, but. It's the phone calls. That's
almost kind of ends up being entertaining in sometimes, right?
And everyone always perceives it fine, and they're like laughing. I'm like, I have kids of my own, I have grandkids of my own. I understand, but I'm just like, it's so hard. Sometimes the car is the easiest time to answer and talk, because you're not running around
holding 50 things at once.
Or pouring milk, or changing a diaper, or changing clothes, or whatever. So it's like the car. So I'm like, just please be okay that I have kids in the car, and y'all just be quiet. But Jack's like, Grandpa, all the time.
You gotta love it. And I think, again, if we can make it into a family affair, I mean, I think that's the best way to do it, because then it does make it more enjoyable for you. Then you're not having to stress out about thinking about, oh, I got to get the kids to over here, or how are they going to act when they go over to this house? What are they going to do? Are they going to, break something while we're at the showing, or are they going to be yelling in the background, running around?
Keep going. Keep
Keep
going.
going. All right.
Yeah.
All right. No. Start jumping on the couches.
Going to the bathroom. Jack always needs to go to the restroom.
That's my youngest.
Yeah, and I'm like, Jack. And they go, I'll go outside. And I'm like, wrong place. But yeah, he knows no stranger, and he's just so nosy. He's just 3. I mean, he's 3, but yeah.
To have that wonder of the world at that
Yeah.
if we were that age again, that'd be amazing. I swear.
Exactly.
What's something that you feel like you kind of that maybe like you look back from being before you were a realtor? Is there anything that you look back and you're like, man, I kind of miss that?
I miss students. I do. My last year of teaching was my most favorite year. I had I loved the school. I loved my students. I loved my parents. I loved my team. I love everything, and I missed it. I missed that next year because I didn't know that I wasn't going to go back.
Mm-hmm.
I had Jack and was planning on going back, and then just kind of God's plan happened, and so I didn't know that it was my ending to that at that point. But so I missed that, and I mean, I love kids. So I mean, you can't get into teaching and not love kids. So I do miss that. I still keep in touch with a lot of them, but it's not the same as being with 25 kids every more 25 kids in a class.
Yeah.
Last year I had 3 classes, so I had close to 80 kids. So I miss that. I miss being able to sometimes stop and be able to enjoy the night, but it's just different now because I still enjoy the night because I'm helping people sell or buy a home. So it's just different. It's a lot different. And like I said, I knew what I was coming into with Corbin doing it, so it wasn't total shock, but I also threw a kid in there too, so that was part of the shock. But I miss teaching the kids how to grow up, not just how to read and write. I mean, how to grow up and because my last year was 6th grade, so that's a year. That is a big year for kids, middle school in general, but 6th grade's huge. And if I could go back and relive that year in a heartbeat, I would. It's just a great time. But I'm here. I'm doing it.
Man, yeah. But it's freaking that is a huge deal. I mean, because that's your molding minds, man. I mean, like both of my parents are teachers, so it's
really?
So like my dad was a special ed teacher. My mom was kind of school age. She went from like 1st to 4th grade, but or kindergarten to 4th grade. They're both retired now, but. Yes. So it's like I've seen from the outside what all it takes, you know what I mean? And then it's kind of interesting is like with the technology that kind of has come in within the last like 15, 20 years, they were definitely kind of like, okay, I'm getting pushed out. They were.
I would be so lost right now if I went back into a classroom with how technology is different from just 3 years
Oh
ago.
Yeah, because of pandemic and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, well, and I was teaching during the pandemic when we shut down, trying to figure out. I mean, it was March, so we really only had 2 more months left of figuring out online learning. And that was just a task. And then the next year, went back into the classroom. I was at a different district, but still, both districts were back in the classroom. But it was half were online, half were in class. Some, when they got exposed and got sent home for 2 weeks, then they could do online, but they didn't have to do online. It was just a whole lot. But just now with like AI and so many different things, AI is probably the biggest thing. I would be lost. I mean, I would have to learn so much just for the teaching aspect and communicating with kids with the new technology in the last 3 years. It would just be a lot. So
That's insane. I can't imagine what like even just the transition from during that pandemic to going into that. Like I give it up to a lot of teachers that were going through that because I could tell, especially like we got very lucky that we had our oldest was in kindergarten at the time when it was all going down, and she had a really great teacher, Mrs. Bean. Shout out to you, Mrs. Bean. But she was very passionate about what she did, and she was always on top of it, even with like the having to do everything through Zoom and stuff like that. It was crazy, but man, she was great whenever she did that, and we were lucky enough to have her during that time frame. But yeah, like I would kind of sit off to the side and kind of see on the screen while my daughter was on Zoom with her, and I'm like, oh my god, like all these kids are just there, like in their pajamas, like in their
Yeah.
like in their living room or
Yeah.
wherever they were in their house, and I was just like, gosh, man, that's crazy to have all these kids 5 years old doing
That
this
is nuts. So
over Zoom.
so the pandemic hit for us, I was, or for everyone, it hit when it hit in March. I was teaching fourth grade in Jacksonville. So in the year prior, I was in kindergarten. So I just can't imagine doing Zoom with 5-year-olds, with not even knowing how to turn a computer on or knowing where the camera is. So I did it. So I had fourth graders at that time, so they were much more knowledgeable, knew how to work a computer and all. But that didn't mean that they all came and picked one up.
Mm-hmm.
That didn't mean that they all had it charged. That didn't mean that they all knew how to work it, even though they should have. They didn't want to know how to work it. Then the next year, sixth grade, we were back in the classrooms. But like I said, we had kids that would get exposed or sick themselves and have to be out. And so it was pretty easy with them. They at that point knew, if I don't log on and do this, if I don't email her and ask questions or whatever, like I'm gonna fail the quiz or fail the assignment or whatever. So it was way different from the fourth to the sixth, and just the responsibility levels of it. But I cannot imagine kindergarten.
Do you feel like there was a little bit more leniency throughout like that time frame where it was like online learning? Was it more lenient as far as like
we had to be a lot more understanding of these are kids that you're teaching and trying to expect to log on, get it done, ask for help if they want help, open an email and type an email to you and ask a question when they're not in your classroom every day. But in sixth grade, it was a lot easier. I knew a lot of those parents that communicated well too with, hey, so-and-so hadn't logged on in 3 days. Have they done any of the work? Because at that point, they could do work without logging on.
Yeah.
Is the format that I had my class, without like getting on a Zoom. So they could just do all their work and I would just see it pop up and I could grade it, email them, say, hey, good job, or blah, blah, whatever. It takes some apparent, involvement, which, is hard to ask and expect.
It's tough.
Especially because you're also communicating through a 12-year-old. So that was hard. You had to be more lenient with that type of stuff, but you still couldn't just let them run all over
for sure
and just not give a crap,
not participate, not do anything. That makes sense.
Because after 2 weeks they had to come back and you're in a totally different unit. You already did that last unit test and you're moved on, or you finished that book. For me, we had a different book, so if we finished that book, took the test, did the activity, blah blah blah, whatever, we were on to the next, and they're halfway through. They don't want to sit at home and read or go in the hallway and read, because then they're getting behind again. So that was hard for me. That was hard, and for math especially too. I didn't teach math, but it builds. So we built on book after book after skill, and so they miss all that and they don't do it. I mean, it was hard, but
I'll be honest with you, I don't know how the kids did it either, because like I would get distracted.
I would not have done good.
I would get so distracted. Are you kidding me?
No. That's why I had to be more understanding, because I wouldn't be. I mean, heck, I did real estate school online and had to. Sometimes I would go through a video or a segment of it. And
did you do like virtually, or did you do at your own pace?
No, I did at my own pace. Jack was 3 weeks old when I started.
And
it was so hard. I would just sit there and I'm like, I don't know what I just read or listened to. Go back. So I can't imagine as a 12-year-old doing it at school or younger.
Yeah.
So
every time I get somebody that's interested in getting real estate and they ask me, what's the best way to kind of go to school or take classes, and I was like, whatever you do, don't do it at your own pace.
That's just not the way I'm
right, and that's right. Same here. And that's kind of for me. Like, and I do ask them.
People that can.
Yeah, I do ask them, like, if you can do that and you're good at, like, self-discipline and stuff like that, as far as when it comes to teaching at your own pace, that's fine. I need more interaction. You know what I mean? So like, I need to be able to ask questions. I need somebody to be able to talk to me. I need to I need
someone to be able to look at my face and say, you don't know what I just said.
Yeah.
I can read it all over you and maybe like, I just want to ask for help. Yeah. But so that I had no choice. I mean, I decided to do real estate school 3 weeks after I had a baby. And it just made sense. I was home.
Mm-hmm.
He slept all the time, so I could do it while he slept, and I could still hold him and do it on the computer, whatever. But it was hard, and then I did it during the holiday season. I mean, I started in September-ish, I guess. He was maybe 4 weeks, so I don't know, in August, September. So I took my time because I knew I was going to be home with him for a little bit. And then the holidays hit, and then so it took a lot longer. But there was just days where I'm like, Corbin, I don't know what I just listened to. So tomorrow I'm just going back to that chapter, redoing it. And I mean, it ended up working out. Here I am.
As I was gonna say, yeah,
pass them. Here I am.
Heck yeah,
that's not the way I learned, but it's
right. I guess. I mean, it worked because we passed our tests and stuff, and we did well. But if I had the option, I would definitely go back and at least do virtual. At least do virtual to where it's over Zoom and stuff like that. And we're talking to an actual instructor.
Yeah.
But I don't.
Totally self-paced.
It was torture for me.
Yeah,
it was torture for me.
Yeah.
I
so
had to
ever go to any other class again?
I had to sit down. I had to sit myself in my bedroom and lock myself in my room and be like, I told my wife, I was like, hey, I just need you to like take the kids and just do whatever. I just need to get.
So
this
you
done.
did it for your initial real estate license.
Yeah, I did it for my initial in person for broker. Yeah. I definitely did it in person for broker.
Yeah,
I was not doing that again. I learned my lesson. I knew what I was capable of, and on top of that too, I mean the fact that I went to to Maurice Taylor over there at Vivid. Mm-hmm. So like it's for me that was I love their style of teaching anyways. Yeah. And I love their atmosphere. So it was a no-brainer for me. Yeah. If I had the opportunity to go somewhere now and I have the choice of where I want to go, that's where I'm going to go. Yeah. So it's but that I had to lock myself in my room for that whole weekend when it came to my initial license. Yeah. And I was like, I'm telling you, from like 9 a.m. to like 6 p.m. I was in there just cranking it out, and taking notes and cranking it out and going back and reviewing it again because I don't remember. Just like you said, I don't remember what I just read, so I had to go back again and read it over again. And there was no videos, nothing. That was all reading, and oh my god, it was torture. But like you said, luckily enough, like we have people around, I had people around me as well too, with like, JC, Jim, Corbin, JD and the guys as well too, and Lane. And I was able to, bounce off and ask them questions and stuff like that as well too. And then they gave me some tools to use to be able to kind of prep for
I used so many people's flashcards and notes to study because I had it from the class, but everyone was like, I got different information on this. I got more. We had a lot of people in our class that were confused on this section. So we did like 2 extra hours on this. And so they, so they gave it to me. And online, they didn't do a bunch of law.
Yeah.
Like at all. Because mine, I guess it was an Arkansas class. Mine didn't do very much law. Yeah. So when it got to, because you had to do both tests, I came to our agents and I was like, what notes do you have on law that I can study and, bounced off people. And so that was nice to have that option because not a lot of people do. Mm-hmm. So that was
yeah, good. The law for me was the tricky part as well too. I think that was when I had to literally just get a book and and I was asking the guys questions and stuff like that to be able to get info on that because there was no way. I mean, luckily enough, like, when I was super nervous going to go take the test, because they put you in that room and it's just like and it's like soundproof. Yeah, it's like that soundproof room and you're in there and you're just probably in there with 1 or 2 other people, but they're doing completely other different tests.
Oh, yeah.
Nothing that has to do with yours.
By and it's
like some people were doing chemicals, some people were doing like security, and I was like, I don't know, but sat in there and it was so quiet. I think it took me about probably an hour and a half, hour 45 minutes, something like that to do it. And you just leave and you're just like, because it doesn't give you any results right there and then. You're just kind of like,
right there. Yeah, you gotta walk out of the room. To the front desk and then just sit there and wait.
You start flagging questions because you want to come back to it because you're like, what? I think I got that wrong. Let me just go and flag that one. I'll come back to it later.
You have 25 flag questions.
Yeah. You start second guessing yourself on everything. Yeah. But it was good because I mean, and luckily I don't know what my score was. I didn't really want to know what my score was, but we passed. You know what I mean? So that was always good. And then going back through the information. I mean, I guess I got a good amount of them right. I was just second guessing myself the whole thing. Yeah. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's funny looking back at that now how nervous I was. I was just as nervous for that, if not more, for my broker's test. My broker's one. I don't know why I was so nervous for it, but I knew the information. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I was confident during the class, and I had it. It really is. It really is because once you get in there, you're like, oh my God, like
I
what?
learned nothing.
I learned nothing. Yeah, and you think so, but
Yeah.
you really do know more
Yeah.
than you think. And it was stressful. I remember just getting that back, and I was sure, I was like, man, I didn't pass this one.
Yeah.
I was like, it's a broker's test. I was gonna go ahead and expect to take it probably twice or three times.
Yeah.
And it came out, and I was just kind of like, okay, just let me know how I failed. What did I? Because when you fail, they'll let you know how what your score was.
Yeah.
But
when you pass, you don't know your score.
yeah.
That's right.
So like I was like, all right, what did I get? Like a 50, like a 60 or something like that. And they're like, oh, you passed. And I was like, huh? I was like, I was just like, what is it, Scooby?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, but took that, and I just ran with it. I was like, all right, let me just leave before they change their mind.
Yes, run out. Yeah.
You're like, wait, no, this isn't you. This isn't you.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, dude. So I'm glad we got to do this. I'm glad you got to be the first guest here in the new studio. And dude, there's gonna be a lot more coming.
Yeah.
Not only with the podcast, but with our events as well too.
Yeah.
And we're super excited about that.
We start planning for Halloween in about a month.
Here pretty soon. That's right. So by the time this comes out, we're probably
same office.
Yeah, in the same office. That's right. Or in one under one roof. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Because before we had to go and schedule time out just to be able to meet and stuff like that. So I mean, we still kind of do now, but it's like we're right down the hallway.
Yeah.
Right down the hallway now, so we don't have to worry about it. But man, I'm so glad you were able to be the first guest on here. You got a big part to do about this as well too. So kind of being able to enjoy it together, I think it was a really awesome way to kind of break the ice on this part, to kick it off. So
I'm really proud of it. Love that we're in a new revamped setting, and just makes it, you sometimes you just need change. Not that that one was bad, or the first one was bad even. You just want a little change, and this was different, and like you said, under the same roof, and we could just chit chat. I was at the beach last week, so I'm missing my people up here at the
Come back all tan.
Yeah, Maggie's in there looking all tan. But so yeah, I'm glad we could kick off the first time in our room.
Heck yeah. So there's gonna be a lot more to come, and I can't wait for you guys to see. If you guys have any questions on anything, by all means, feel free. Oh, by the way, before I forget, we are now officially on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and Amazon, I think music or audio, Amazon Audio as well too. So you can find us, look for us on those, subscribe, follow us on that, and then you can actually give us some ratings on there as well too. Let us know how we're doing, and if you have questions, there's also ways to put questions on those as well too, and we'll go ahead and be following that as well too, and see what you guys think. So if you guys have any suggestions on stuff that you would like to see us talk about more, by all means, put it in there. We want to know what you guys want to hear. This is for you. This is for information, and for you guys to get to know a little bit more about us over here at Edge. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. Until next time, thank you, Bethany Kidd, Yashua Suarez with Edge Realty, and you know what? Until next time, we really appreciate you, and we love you, and we hope you have a wonderful day. Bye, y'all. Hey, thank you so much for tuning into today's episode of the Edge Realty podcast. We hope you found the insights valuable and enjoyed the discussion. If you did, we'd love for you to help us spread the word. Please share this episode with friends, family, and anyone you think might benefit from our content. Your support helps us reach more people and continue bringing you the best real estate insights. Don't forget to engage with us on social media. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube to stay updated with our latest episode, behind the scenes content, and more. We love hearing from you, so drop a comment, ask a question, or share your thoughts on what topics you'd like for us to cover on future episodes. And if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to our podcast, which is now on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, and Amazon Music, so you never miss an episode. Thanks for listening and watching. We'll see you next time on the Edge Realty podcast, where we're dedicated to helping you navigate the world of real estate with confidence and success. Until then, take care and happy house hunting.